MacArthur had indeed been caught unprepared, despite the obviously critical place of the Philippines in War Plan Orange. Clark Field, outside Manila, bloomed with fires from the prettily arrayed rows of American planes pummeled by Japanese bombers. By 2000 hours of December 7th, only 31 fighters, 27 bombers, including 5 B-17s, and 3 seaplanes remained operational. Though MacArthur failed to contest the landings in the Philippines, that did not mean resistance melted away. On the contrary, Americans as well as the Green Filipino Constabulary fought magnificently on the ground. As early as December 9th, General Nazaharu Homa, commanding the Imperial Army's invasion of Luzon, sent a message to Tokyo demanding increased naval air support and additional troops. Yamamoto refused to release his carriers, now lurking west of Guam, partly out of fear that too rapid a success on the ground would cause the American fleet to return to Pearl, thus evading his trap. As a result, considerable friction develops between the Army and the Navy hierarchies. Fortunately for Japan, Yamamoto's threat to resign, following on the heels of a naval success in the South China Sea on December the 8th, squelched that particular internal conflict. On December 7th, a British force composed of the battleships Prince of Wales and the battlecruiser Repulse, with the carrier Indomitable providing air cover, sorted from Singapore to disrupt Japanese amphibious landings along the Malayan coast. On the following day, Indomitable's cap found itself swamped by waves of Japanese fighters and bombers. The British lost all 3 capital ships, but not before scout planes from their carrier reported the source of their numerous attackers. 6 Japanese flat tops, steaming just within maximum range of Clark Airfield. For once, MacArthur acted with alacrity, dispatching every available plane to attack the enemy task force. The uncoordinated waves of American planes began their attack as darkness fell across the South China Sea. Short on fuel and blanketed in darkness, few of the bombers and fighters managed to return to Clark, but those that did allowed MacArthur to send his historic message at 23:30 that evening. Tonight, there is a stillness on the South China Sea, where once the fleet of Japan roamed at will. I have avenged the brave crews of the Repulse, the Prince of Wales, and the Indomitable. 5 carriers of the Japanese Navy have been confirmed as destroyed by my heroic American aviators, and another is damaged and presumed sinking. Thus, Yamamoto won a double victory that day. 3 British capital ships stricken from the Royal Naval List, and MacArthur's reassurance to the world that the carrier might of Japan had been destroyed. Kimmel, steaming rapidly to Wake Island, is reported to have held a dinner party the following evening. Neither the first nor the last warrior deceived into celebration, while a trap waited patiently mere days ahead. Rear Admirals Wilson Brown of Task Force 2 and Frank Fletcher of Task Force 3, scouting far forward of Task Force 1, breathed sighs of relief. Until that moment, each man had wrestled with nightmares of their single carriers isolated and destroyed by the numerically superior Japanese naval air power. Fletcher, always concerned about the fuel levels of his ships, even slowed his advance the following day to replenish. Only aboard Enterprise, the flagship of Task Force 4, did a senior American officer seem to have doubts concerning the veracity of MacArthur's message. A young flyer overheard Halsey, then suffering from a constantly worsening skin rash. That son of a bitch was a born and egotistical liar. Even those yellow bastards aren't stupid enough to put 6 big carriers where his flyers could get at them. Doug couldn't sink an outhouse, not even if he dropped a brick one in the middle of Subic Bay. I hope to God that Will and Frank see through this crap. Stillness on the sea. Shit.